Thank you for listening. If you want to know more about us and our services, please visit our website at www.wsk9co.com.
Today we're going to talk about X marks the spot, and that can mean a lot of different things. And so we're going to just kind of talk about what it means to each of us when we talk about X marks the spot. And I think for me, from a trainer with dogs, X marks the spot would be the times that the dog is doing the correct thing. Would be the time to mark that as correct or a yes or a good. And so I think helping clients create that picture where if the dog sits at the door, then X marks the spot. If that's like you create where you want your dog to do certain things to help get into the timing and the rhythm of training, because a lot of clients, the timing is off. And so using that to help them see and mark it as soon as it happens, or the place that it happens. And so helping, them get into a rhythm of, what that spot is, how would how would you praise for it or whatever that is. But I think that there's a lot of ways to use that from discipline to correct behavior. X marks the spot, if that's not the correct behavior, that's the point of discipline. Two, that's the correct behavior, and that's the point of praise. So when Melissa, when you hear X marks the spot, what comes to mind when it is associated to dog training?
I think of immediately like targeting, and with that, I think it's an amazing process for people to realize that their dog can do something and think through a process by, I can go away from you, touch something, and come back to you, and that's what you want me to do. And that we don't always have to be telling our dogs to do every single thing all of the time, but they are smart enough to anticipate and to know, okay, I can go away from you, touch this X spot, and then come back to you. And that it's just I think it's a process, not as only for the dog, but for owners to go, oh my gosh, my dog can think through a process, or my dog's smart. And it's like it really kind of pushes training forward to know your dog knows where that X is. Right. Dogs have more situational awareness than we give them credit for, and also more awareness of what their body's doing. Yeah. Like they know when their paw's touching something. They know it's that deliberate touch is a big light bulb moment, which I love to watch and experience.
Yeah. Michelle, what about you with X marks the spot?
I really would like you to teach Murphy where his back feet are, because he doesn't know. He has no idea. I actually really loved your answer, Joe, but I was taking it more literally like Melissa, and I was thinking more of targeting and how much you can do with that. Like, I think a lot of people just think because we start here with that. Yeah. Most people are like, oh, that's the only thing you can do with that. But you can do so much with targeting, from go to your bed, shutting doors, going to the car and doing something else. I have a dog right now that we're teaching to go in the car, turn around and lay down because he's terrified of the car. So we're just trying to change that picture for him. So I took it more literally like X marks the spot in going somewhere and doing something and being on that actual X spot.
Sure. Melissa?
Yeah, and even that X can be something that your dog is scared of or reactive to. Sure. Like, the biggest thing for me with targeting has happened when using that X as your dog wants to go get something, but calling them off of the X. And you are the now X marks the spot. Right. You're the ultimate X marks the spot. It's your dog, but that whole idea of a certain place, a specific situation.
Yeah, so getting their mind off of what they're afraid of to what they need to be doing, type of thing.
Yeah, this dog is insanely smart too, so he wants to do everything just to and it's not even to please you. It's really for himself. He's actually one of the most fascinating dogs I think I've ever worked with. But and so it's really fun watching him do it, because he did have to get over the car thing, but watching him learn it's fun.
Nice. That's good. Shannon, what does it mean to you with X marks the spot?
For me, I think of how I trained Louis, that he has a specific spot or thing he's supposed to do like everywhere in my house. So he has his own little spot in every room of my house, pretty much, where when I'm doing something, he should do something at his spot. And that's what I think of, that X marks his spot where he's supposed to be, and he knows what behavior is appropriate for what activity that we're doing at that time.
I think that, we tend to, as dog owners, we tend to coach and manipulate and coerce and force and give up, and we're having that goal in mind, that place, that thought process, that, whatever it is, that we don't have to have this conversation in between. We just need to keep the focus on that end vision. And so that we allow the dogs to think through the process to get to the end. If we can create a vision for the end, then it helps with not being so, off in the middle, because that's where we miss our cues. With our dogs is we're trying to convince and we're talking through it, and we completely miss the actual behavior that they're giving us. So I think using with, the X marks the spot is, what is that X? Whether it's through targeting and we're using that X to, target to the car or close the door, that's the end picture. And that's what we have to stay focused on, instead of everything in between that the dog's doing that's not right. Because if we can stay focused on it, then the dog's going to stay focused to that end. And then that's when the reward would happen. Instead of getting caught up with everything in between. What are some of the things that that we can give owners to help them kind of comprehend this X marks the spot thing as they're, living this journey with their dog?
Thinking about it in that your dog is going to try different things to please you, and let them kind of experience, take a step back. And I had a lesson where the owner wasn't quite getting it and kept wanting to just tell their dog over and over and over to do this thing, and the dog was getting frustrated. So, the thing where you pat your head and rub your belly? I told them to do that, but then I would start, no, I want you to tap this, and I would just keep telling them, and I'd get closer and kind of intensify it, and they're like, this is overwhelming. And I was like, exactly, let your dog figure it, let your dog make mistakes, they'll learn from it. And even if your dog's just kind of sitting there and staring off into space, their wheels are turning. Let them, keep encouraging them, of course, but love them enough to let them make mistakes. I don't know if that makes sense, but let them figure it out. And because when they do, and it's such a fun thing to watch, that they get excited that they knew something, that they figured it out, that they tried harder, and that will go into all different areas of your life with your dog. And that being patient enough to kind of take a step back and going, okay, I'm not going to overwhelm my dog, but encourage them through the process of that X.
It's my favorite part of dog training, actually, to teach dogs something new, to sit back and watch to see when they figure it out. Yeah. It really is. I think that's why I enjoy working puppies so much, and most people can't stand it, but I think I love it because I love stepping back and being patient, even for 30 seconds, to see, watch their wheels start working, and looking around, how am I supposed to figure this out? But I think that is so hard for owners, because they're like, I just don't get why my dog's not getting it. And I'm like, your dog is getting it in his own time.
Yeah.
So I think that's a hard part, is teaching them to take a step back.
Right.
And yet to know when to praise the dog that they're doing something right.
Right.
So it is really hard. There is a fine line. Like how you were saying earlier, X marks the spot for you with those little successes. And I think that's really hard for people to get the picture. We need to give them little successes to get the big picture.
Right.
And then yet there's other times we need to back off and let them get that little step before.
Right. I was thinking through, Shannon, what you were saying as far as, using it as there's places for him to be or do in each of the rooms. And if you look at, stepping back and humanizing that X marks the spot is almost like going on a treasure hunt. And there's the little successes, those little things that you get to get the information to get to the X. And that is kind of what I envisioned, like you went through with Louie, is we're going on this scavenger hunt, I guess, or we're going on this treasure hunt there's these little successes to get to, the ultimate spot of being able to hang out on the couch and, or, whatever that is. But if you look at it in that way from a human understanding that journey, you're going on a treasure hunt with your dog, and there's little things to get to the X, but we also have that map that says, here's X, and this is how we're going to get there. And that's what, with our online dog training course, that's almost what it is it's you're on this treasure hunt to get to X, and there's all these little videos to help you get to X with your dog. And so in a sense, you're going on a journey, you're going on this adventure, and you're going on this treasure hunt to get to X, and it's the targeting, it's the little successes, it's the steps along the way. But if we get distracted and pulled off of because there's, a bald eagle flying overhead and we lose track of what, where we're headed, then it changes our path and creates confusion, and then we have to back up and start figuring it out again. So, Shannon, do you have any, insight from that point?
Well, plus it's just more fun that way. Like, who gets a treasure map that's like, oh, your treasure's in the seat of the car? No fun at all. You want to go on a journey, and going on a journey with your dog creates a better relationship with them too. So part of the getting to where the spot is the fun of going on the journey and learning from each other and having those stops along the way, your small victories that you share.
So think about what that X is. Take the journey, take the steps, don't distract, and stay focused on it, and you'll get there, and you will find that X marks the spot as well.
Thank you for listening. If you want to know more about us and our services, please visit our website at www.wsk9co.com. And as always, we urge you to get out and train.